have got to see this Netflix movie, Two Distant Strangers. Spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you all about it because you've already seen it play out in the news. There's a black man who gets shot by the police. He just gets up, has an interaction with the young woman he stayed with, and walks out the door, and there's a cop waiting there to kill him. It's Groundhog Day, and we see it play over 100 times. He tries to avoid it. He tries everything. And very quickly, he realizes that he's stuck in this loop. And so what's the point of the movie? The point of the movie for us, of course, is that even what I would call what I thought was the final scene, it ended up being the penultimate scene where he has an actual dialogue with the cop. He speaks to the young woman, and this is what she suggests: just go talk to him. So he has an actual dialogue with the cop, and we see this play out over and over and over, that he's failed many times, even when he speaks directly to the cop. And so finally, he asks the cop to just take him home. The cop takes him home, and finally he gets shot. The cop, we realize, knew about the loop all along. So he let it play out. And so now we realize, okay, so if dialogue wasn't the solution, and the cop is also stuck in the loop, we realize then that they're both sort of victims of destiny. They're both victims of a system that places them as cop and robber, as killer and victim. And there are a few didactic moments in the film. Of course, we've seen the many different ways that he gets killed. For example, so the first scene, he's pressed against the pavement. There's a woman standing by filming, and he utters the now iconic phrase, "I can't breathe." We see him get shot in the chest. We see him get shot in the back. We see him get shot running away. We see him get shot not resisting. We see him get shot because something that the cop felt was suspicious about him. We've seen all these different ways that he gets shot. And by this point, of course, you don't need to have the didactic moment that they give. When the cop is driving them home, we see an aerial shot, and graffiti on top of one of the buildings are many of the names, including George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, that you would know that have been killed by cops in all these different ways. We see that repeated, echoed at the end, this, A Million Ways to Die at the hands of cops. By the closing credits, they don't show the actors' names or anything. They show names of people who've died at the hands of cops. It's slow enough for you to read, but so the credits are going, and then every now and then they'll show what that person was doing. Like Tamir Rice was playing in the park, Walter Scott was going to an auto parts shop and that kind of thing. And so it is heartbreaking to imagine that this film doesn't end with a Hollywood hopeful, and they lived happily ever after. As I said, the penultimate scene where there was genuine dialogue and they got to know each other, and they had, you thought that even on the parts where they agreed to disagree, it seemed that they both respected each other's right to live and do what they do. And even then, shot dead like Amadou Diallo right in front of his house. And so it is left for us to decide as viewers, as spectators, what are we going to do when the entire cast of heroes and villains is powerless, helpless? There are no winners.